In today's video, I'm going to go over the unique one-handed sword Varunastra. I'm going to go over a couple of different applications for it, a couple of different skill trees, some things you can do economically with it, and just theory craft a few builds. Now this is a weapon that I've used very frequently recently, and I have thought of a bunch of different applications you can use for it with the new skill tree. I really hope you enjoy it, and let's pop into it. Hello friends, this is Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming, and welcome to another Path of Exile video. Today's video is going to be on the unique Volblade Varunastra one-handed sword, which has a unique property that makes it count as all one-handed melee weapons. So that'll be one-handed maces, axes, swords, claws, and daggers. And I believe that is it. The good thing about this is recently there have been a bunch of overhauls to the melee side of the tree, the duelist, the raider, or rather the ranger, the marauder, and even up by the Templar. A lot of the melee weapon nodes are looking a lot better, and the Varunastra is in a unique position that it's able to get a lot of powerful and unique effects all at once. So I've theory crafted a couple of different builds here that I'm going to go over in this. Currently the Varunastra is going for about 3 chaos, and another unique feature that I want to talk about before we actually get into the builds is buying jewels with this. So good thing about this is it's pretty hard to find a jewel that has life and then has beneficial damage effects or damage stats for your weapon, multiple, like 2, 3 properties. Even if you can get all 4 properties for damage. Now with the Varunastra specifically, since it counts as all of them, it's actually quite easy to get a 4 property jewel that you'll be able to use, and for much cheaper than you would think, because many people don't think about this. They think if they get something that's different from the original intended use, say they have some axe damage and some sword damage on there, they think that bricks the jewel, they'll lower the price. Varunastra, that works out perfectly. So we can very easily leverage that. Varunastra's, the higher damage ones that I have, and I'm showing in this video, they cost around 35 chaos for a higher damage roll. You can get a lower damage roll to start off with for as little as 3, as I said. And if you want to spend some divines on it, you might be able to get a better one that way. So that's one way to do it. Otherwise, you can just buy up. Alright, so here we are with like a record again. And I've shown this character off before. I have completely respec'd it, completely drained me of all of my regret orbs, my scours, and my chances buying those up. But definitely worthwhile because I've been having a lot of fun with this character. Still doing Cyclone, but I decided to get rid of Infused Channeling in exchange for Pulverize. And the reasoning for that is that because I'm going with Varunastra here, we of course still have Brinkmanship giving us AoE and Splitting Strikes, but we also are getting AoE from Bonebreaker and the nodes going up into that. We're able to actually pick up Blade Master. We're able to get AoE from Ribcage Crusher and those nodes there. And overall, and Blade Dancer, we're able to get some melee range. So I decided I wanted to scale a lot of AoE. You saw what that looked like in the gameplay footage. We could push this even farther if I was able to spare the stats, if I had better stats somewhere, and didn't need the attributes I have on my gloves and my amulet. I could craft +1 weapon range on those. I also have +1 weapon range from Warlord's Reach with an area of effect corrupt on it. So there's another thing that you can do. I'm looking to eventually get this to full screen AoE, so we're gonna try to get that up at some point. But yeah, currently my skill tree looks like this, pretty much going through the physical attack, down through Dervish. If you're leveling, of course, you're going to be focusing on one weapon type, but you can grab all the generic stuff here, get the life, go over here and grab Strong Arm, and then you can just path through here and go back and pick up whatever you're leveling with. I would recommend axes just because of the easy onslaught. And then you can also pick up splitting strikes and brinkmanship to get a lot of your AoE from that. And of course, head over to Hatchet Master, the Leech, and then the life wheel up here. So pretty generic tree. Once you actually get the Varunastra itself, you can, I believe it is level 64. So once you get to level 64, you can start picking up like Ribcage Crusher. I like Bludgeon Blitz. It gives a lot of accuracy. We're not going for Resolute Technique, mostly because we have a bunch of efficient nodes that also give us accuracy here. So don't really need to worry about it. As you can see, I have a 100% chance to hit, counting the accuracy from War Banner. 97 against evasive monsters. We could potentially pick up more accuracy, maybe just this node here. It's fairly efficient as 6% attack speed, and global accuracy is pretty good, but not entirely necessary. Or of course we could pick up versatility, would also give us stats. So there's a couple of different things we can do there. But this is the character overall. In the hideout, it gets about that big AoE, which is fairly large. We are not using any kind of mana fixing other than the mana leech we have, because each of these gets +2 to +3 mana gained for each enemy hit by attacks. And I have 2 on both of them, unfortunately. However, these do have high damage. I didn't want to pay 2 to 4 exalts for a top damage one, but we got 42 out of 45 bottom damage, 89 out of 100 physical damage, and maxed increased % physical damage on this one. And then 39 out of 45 for the bottom here, 97 out of 100 for the top end, and 59 out of 60 for the increased physical. So we got like 95% of the damage for, you know, an eighth of the price or a tenth of the price or so. So I think that's good enough. Tooltip DPS is about 150 million without frenzy charges, not factoring in Pride or Maim from Flesh and Stone, which we have with the 30% increased physical damage, and also not counting Impale. So in reality, we're probably doing somewhere around like 1.2 million DPS. Pretty solid damage overall, and we have it in a huge AoE. So really nice. Links are Cyclone, Pulverize, Impale, Fortify, Brutality, and Melee Physical. So just about maxed out there. Still don't have a maxed out Cyclone. Probably looking to get 1.3, 1.4 million DPS on this endgame. And that also doesn't count the more damage from being closer from impact. And so yeah, that's it's pretty solid overall. And that'll be our buffed DPS. 1.5 or so million. It's been a pretty interesting build, and now that I've shown you that, I just want to pull up Path of Building and show you a couple of different trees I've thought about with the Varunastra as well, so I'll get those coming up here. Alright, the first one we have is a Berserker. I have a level 90 setup, 2 passive points. We're going non-crit again. As you can see, it has a 100% crit chance, and a little over 722,000 DPS, and that is with no rings on, just Belt of Deceiver, Carnage, Heart, Devil, Varunastra. I didn't want to really get all the gear out, and no flasks as well. Obviously, all these builds can be improved with like a Lion's Roar and that kind of thing. It's Ziri's Disfavor, I guess, if you're not using... if you're not specifically using Brutality, which I am in this case, but the next build will not be using that. So yeah, we're doing another Cyclone here. The third one won't be a Cyclone, so don't worry if you're sick of Cyclone. I just like to use Cyclone as kind of a proof of concept because it's such a consistent one. But what we can do here is we can get 168% life, which is a pretty solid amount of life, and we can get all of these big efficient clusters for damage in the back here, and we can kind of just path through the back. Now I'm gonna have to fix this actually, because we're not gonna be able to take blood magic. We'll have to see if we can grab some life elsewhere, maybe pick up these nodes up here instead. So that works out to 160% instead. But yeah, I just thought about it. We wouldn't be able to use Pride, War Banner, and Blood and Sand had we done that. But the cool thing about this is we just path through the back. We get all of the efficient damage items, Splitting Strikes, or damage nodes rather, Spine Crusher. We can get Ribcage Crusher again. Go up here, get Dervish. We get Blade Dancer again. Nice one, Bludgeon Blitz. This one's cool too because it gives you 6% movement speed if you've hit an enemy recently, which is really handy. This one will give accuracy and damage. So, and then we go back here and we get more accuracy. So we're going to be capped out at 100% accuracy with this build. And it is quite a decent, solid build overall. Using Frenzy charges, of course, with Blood Rage. Using Onslaught, of course, which we can get for free through Slaughter, which is really nice. Lets you use Slaughter with every build that goes on that side of the tree. We have Fortify, we've hit recently. And of course, we're maxing out on Rage. And once again, we're using Belt of the Deceiver for the Intimidate in this particular build. So we get a lot of AoE, a lot of life, and just very efficient damage nodes. So this is one of the things we can do with this particular build. Okay, so here we are with an assassin build, and the interesting thing about this build, once again, Varunastra, I just have an amulet with some damage on there. I was going to put crit multi. We're using Hrimburn because we don't really... We could easily path over here, but the whole point of this build is to get as much crit multi. So I don't have any crit multi on gear, and we're able to get up to 672% crit multi, 98% hit chance, and 99% crit chance. And the reasoning for that is we're able to get all these dagger, claw, and sword crit multi nodes, which there are many. So yeah, basically the idea is we path through here, we go through the crit, and we're going to be using, in this particular case, Frost Blades. Now there's probably some better setups that we can have here, but in this particular case we're using Frost Blades. We're going through grabbing all the crit multi we can. There might be some more efficient pathing here, but we're going to get Throat Seeker, we're going to come across here, we're going to get the crit multi from Claws of the Hawk, we're going to get crit multi from Backstabbing, crit multi from Claws of the Falcon. Over here we're getting crit multi from Adder's Touch as well. And then we're also going to get some Leech. We're going to get a lot of extra Leech and Leech Rate from Soul Raker and from Stabbing Thirst, and those ones coming up here. Dagger, Damage, and Leech. These ones give Leech recovery per second. So it gives us a much faster life leech rate than we would normally have because of all of those. And then we come down here. There's more crit multi on Heartseeker. We have Fatal Blades, crit multi over there. We're able to go over and get Twin Tears for a lot of crit multi on that. And getting some accuracy on Honed Edge. And of course, we kind of double dip here. Feller of Foes gives us crit multi and accuracy, putting us up to a nice 98%. And of course, I can also, in this particular case, use War Banner if I want, which will put us up to 99% hit rate. Not really that much better, but it might help a little bit. We're going to have still 15% unreserved mana, so that hopefully will be good enough to keep us topped off with the Varunastra. Now, if not, we can always pick up some leech on a mana leech on a ring or something, or we can simply pick up this mana leech node right here, drop off maybe something. Now, life is a little low on this one, 131%, but I just thought it was interesting. We'll of course be using power charges, frenzy charges from Blood Rage, Fortify, and yeah, we'll be chilling the enemy as well. And this is not entirely geared. This is going to have, you know, the different chains coming off from the Frost Blades. We can always replace one of the like faster attacks or something with Ancestral Call. Ancestral Call, which will lower our DPS a little bit, down to 220,000, but greatly increase our clear speed. And there's got to be a lot more to do with this. I thought I would bring this up because I think the Varunastra is kind of underrated right now. A lot of people thought there used to be a node here that would give stats for multiple, and it was just a hyper efficient set of nodes for that. But now there are just so many better overall melee weapon clusters that I do think it makes up for it, and I think you're able to do a lot of crazy things. I hope you enjoyed the video. I want to give a shout out to my patron Ty. If you want to help out the channel, be like Ty, be awesome, and go ahead and head over to my Patreon. And anything that you can spare really helps. Help me put out more videos. This has been Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming, and I will see you next time. Bye.